Chennai. Hi, here is Vasukota from Department of BCom Bank Management. Welcome you to the webinar on finishing school for students of 2018-21 batch. Today's topic is self-management and psychological well-being, coping during COVID times.
Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress related to others and make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life from childhood and adolescence through adulthood.
Today we have amidst us the sweet and soft-spoken Ms. Chitra Kesavan, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA, Guru Nanak College.
May I request Rama Ma'am, Head Department of BCom Bank Management, to welcome the gathering and present the convener's report. Ma'am, please.
A pleasant afternoon to one and all present here. I take immense pleasure in welcoming the gathering to the valedictory session of the Finishing School Program series conducted by the Department of BCom Bank Management and to present the convener's report to this gathering. Revered General Secretary and Correspondent, Sardar Manjit Singh Nair in absentia, respected Principal Sir, Dr. M.G. Raghunathan in absentia, beloved Vice Principal Ma'am, Dr. N.C. Rajeshri in absentia, ever motivating Vice Principal, Student Affairs, Dr. L.R.S. Kalanidhi Ma'am, supportive Dean, School of Management, Dr. M.K. Shakila Ma'am, star of today's session and the resource person for the day, Ms. Chitra Keshavan, and my dear faculty members and students from Guru Nanak College and other colleges, welcome you to this session, the valedictory session by the Department of BCom Bank Management. The Department of BCom Bank Management was established in the year 2015. Learning in the department is more student-centric by encouraging student participation in seminars, guest lectures, conferences, internships, workshops, and case study analysis. The management, principal, vice principal, and the Dean School of Management has been constantly motivating the department and the faculty members since its inception. The phenomenal growth of the banking and finance industry, lucrative career prospects in this field, and their increasing contribution to the development of Indian economy has led to the establishment of the program BCom Bank Management in the academic year 2015-16. This course has been designed to create trained professionals who can handle various financial activities associated with banking sectors and operate efficiently in the banking environment as well as in the financial service sector. Our students have actively participated in various intercollegiate competitions and intercollege commerce fest and won many prizes. The participants of this webinar have gained a rare experience of listening to stalwarts from both the academic and corporate fields. The student participants were exposed to a wide spectrum of various interesting topics relating to emotional quotient, resume building, professional education, opportunities and job prospects for commerce students, tips for cracking competitive exams, placement awareness, and above all, psychological well-being during this pandemic. I'm deeply delighted to share the topics of the webinar has attracted many students, both present and passed out, not only from Guru Nanak College, but also from other colleges. It is evident from the overwhelming response of the participants for the webinar. The idea of finishing school program, meaning preparation for entry into society, emerged from the brainstorming session of the department faculty members with the students, where the need to bridge the gap between the present credentials and the requirements to face the society was identified. Based on the industry and societal requirements from the graduates, the program has been designed to equip the students to emerge successfully as accomplished graduates ready to face the society. The 7-day finishing school program goes like this. On day 1, we began with testing the emotional quotient by Ms. Ashwini, freelance trainer and children and adolescent counselor, who elaborated on the different kinds of emotions and how to maintain emotional balance in the workplace and society after graduation and to be self-motivated to reach greater heights in life. Day 2, we had CMA Rakesh Shankar Ravishankar, member Internal Auditing and Assurance Standards Board and the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Commerce, DG Vaishnav College, who gave an insight into the scope of CA, CMA and ACS, the scalable approach to commerce students. He highlighted the benefits of doing various courses and the job opportunities available for financial professionals. Day 3, we had Ms. Anjita, HR Head Manager, Human Resources resolved disputes online private limited RDO, who gave the tips for self-presentation and preparation for job interviews to be effectively placed in suitable positions. Day 4, Dr. M.K. Shakila, Dean School of Management, briefed on email etiquettes and resume writing do's and don'ts for the students and pointed on the common errors that the students would do while preparing resumes. Day 5, we had Dr. R. Sundari, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Commerce, DG Vaishnav College, who had a detailed discussion with the students on higher educational opportunities and entrepreneurial opportunities for commerce students and the best ways to capitalize them. Day 6, we had Dr. P. Muthakumar, Professor, Marwadi University, Gujarat, who shared his expertise in approaching the competitive exams and mechanisms to approach and crack them. He gave a detailed list of various government and bank exams to students to enable them to choose their respective career path. Today, we have Ms. Chitra Keshavan, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA, to throw light on the psychological ways to handle self-management during this pandemic period. The journey in organizing this webinar has been energizing because of the zeal and support from our ever-motivating General Secretary and Correspondent, ever vibrant and energetic Principal, dynamic and ever-supporting Vice Principals, Shift 1, Shift 2, and cooperative faculty members and ever-ready students of our department. The faculties and students of BCom Bank Management work tirelessly for bringing this finishing school program into this shape. We would like to place on record our appreciation to our students, Ganesh and Vasuprata of 3rd BCom BM, Santosh, Hemant, Gayatri and Ranjit of 2nd BM for ably assisting us in the designing of the invitation, certificates, registration and feedback form and compiling. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now I request our dynamic Vice Principal, Student Affairs, Dr. L.R.S. Kalanidhi ma'am, to give introductory address. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon to one and all present here for this final day of the 7-day webinar on the topic Finishing School for students of 2018-21 batch, organized by the Department of BCom Bank Management under the aegis of School of Management. On behalf of our Guru Nanak College, our General Secretary and Correspondent, Mr. Manju Singh Iyer, our able advisor, Dr. Marlin Moraes, our ever-vibrant Principal, Dr. N.G. Raghunathan, our charismatic Vice Principal Shift to Dr. Rajeshri, our ever-smiling Dean, School of Management, Dr. Shakila, also the resource person of one of these days, and we have got the Head Department of Bank Management, Mrs. Rama, and the 4 pillars, including Rama, of the Department of Bank Management, Mrs. Rama, Mrs. Maitri, Venkatesh, Dr. Shankar Narayanan, and Ms. Subdeep Sombi. With all these, I think the webinar has come to the final day of the 7-day deliberation. And I'm extremely happy and privileged to deliver the valedictory address of this program. I will not take long, but then I would like to share some of my observations of these 7-day programs. One or two programs I observed, because we are all busy with various other programs, but then I could not resist my temptation. I used to sit on YouTube and then watch 1 or 2 programs, and I could gather some details from you all. Now, during this program, we have learned a lot. Now, as far as the program schedule went and the report read by our Mrs. Rama, the Head Department of Bank Management, I could see, I could be reminded of 2 things, 2 important things. One is the power of women's empowerment. Now, this program comprises 7 days deliberations, and of these 7 days, five solid, strong women had been the resource persons, and I'm extremely happy as a woman. I'm extremely happy that these women, intellectual women who have been skilled and filled with the knowledge, had shared their insights and inputs with our students, the passing batch of 1821. And then I could see all the topics, really amazing. All the topics are extremely choosy, and I was just wondering, since last year, lockdown, we have been organizing so many programs, and School of Management has been organizing many programs, and each and every topic they choose, the resource person they choose, is unique. I appreciate that. I've been watching that. That shows, the way you choose the gems from among us. There are so many people, but you are able to choose from among the industry, from among the corporates, from among our own alumni, from among various colleges. So you have that what to say, that choice of picking up the right person, because our college is known for choosing the resource person. We always want to highlight one thing, that we want to bring in some high profile resource person, so that the person will be of great use not only to the students but also to the members of staff. So in that way, I appreciate. Actually, I wanted to appreciate through this valedictory address. This is not going to be an address. I only want to recognize the services rendered by every one of you involved in this program. So to start with, I started with Dr. M.K. Shakila, who has been a good friend of ours, mine personally, and we have been sharing a lot. And we have been, all of us, are in the same boat, thinking about the welfare of the institution and for the well-being of our students. And she has been doing her best in every occasion. And she has got a very good band of other departments in her School of Management, BBA, BCom Marketing Management, and BCom Bank Management. I think she has got a perfect triangle with her to do everything, in within within our limit, and to the best use of, or to the maximum limit. And then I am reminded of another thing, like when I saw the 7 programs, 7 days of the week, I thought of Super 7. See, the number 7 has got a significance. There are 7 continents, 7 oceans, 7 ancient wonders, 7 modern wonders, 7 ragas, and then 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 resource persons, catering to, even some time ago, before the program started, they were all talking about the Sunday not being spared. Even yesterday, they had a wonderful program. So every day is a useful day for us. Every moment is useful. And the 7 days of the week, you made use of in the best way possible. So I appreciate these 2 things: women empowerment in full swing in this School of Management, and then Super 7, which has been unique in this program. And I appreciate the participants, the outgoing batch, as well as other students and staff who have been participating in all these empowering programs and enriching programs, because everybody I could see, even whenever I see Mrs. Chitra, the resource person of the final day, I used to wonder, right? She has got so much of capabilities, and she only needs time to share her knowledge and expertise. So they were all commenting that there should be a separate series of programs exclusively for Chitra. So I think the day is not far off to arrange such a program for her. We are all eager to listen to you. I can't ever forget the last program which you gave about gardening, the plants, importance of plants. So many details you gave. I could see the commitment you had, the dedication you had towards each and every subject around us. And here we have, actually, for the success of any program, we need the support of the members of staff in the department, in the school as such, the participants, the anchors like Hemant and Vasuprata, and we have got, so many. And today our program will come to an end, but these 7 days of program will be recorded forever by the media center, this newly created newborn baby of our college, which has been doing wonders. And the backbone over there, Mr. Satish, is representing us today. So thanks a lot, Mr. Satish, for sharing your responsibility, like sharing our responsibility as a whole. I used to see you in every program. That is the commitment we need to have. So I'm really very much delighted to be a part of this program. All the topics are extremely choosy, handpicked by the organizers. I appreciate all of you. Right, with less manpower, I think you have done the best, and that should be appreciated. And when Shakila ma'am is there, I think we get energy doubled. So, and all the people over here, with all cheer, and Sukhdeep Sondhi has been doing so well. And the way she was, I used to wonder, I used to appreciate each and every nuance a person has, and I emulate from them. Okay, and then I want to say just one more thing, that if at all there is a possibility, like all these topics which you have conducted so far, I think it is a tantamount to a research. I think some of us, can take it up as a research topic to see how many programs we have conducted all these days since last year, since the lockdown. I think this lockdown has unlocked our true self, I should say. Now only we could come to know of the the what to say the uniqueness of every individual. All these days we saw Chitra is Chitra, Maitri is Maitri, Rama is Rama. But now after this lockdown, we could see the true colors, the diamond, multi-dimensional diamonds we have in our college. And I think this is how we should explore the possibilities of sharing our knowledge and expertise with our students. They are our main stakeholders. So they need to be taken care of to the fullest possible. And my dear students present here, I appreciate every one of you. Okay, and we all wish you the best in life wherever you are. You should come back to us as Mr. Rakesh, right? As Ms. Sudeep. We have got many alumni around us, so you should come back to our college and share, okay, your best with us. So with these few words, I think I should take leave. Allowing Ms. Chitra to deliberate on her topic, very important topic on self-management and psychological well-being, right? Coping in the year of Corona, of course. I think we have to listen to her thoroughly, and then we should share with her lots of things. Thank you so much, School of Management. Thank you so much, Department of Bank Management. Including the four pillars, Mrs. Rama, Mrs. Maitreyi, Dr. Shankar Narayanan, and Sudeep Sondhi, and the two great stalwarts, Hemant and Vasuprada, anchoring the program. Thank you all very much, Mrs.
Thank
Dr.
you, ma'am.
Manila. I thank you wholeheartedly for having given me this opportunity to deliver this valedictory address. May God bless you all to do more and more. And let's all stay united, stay connected, just stay safe. Thank you all very much. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful words. Now I call upon Maitreyi ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of BCom Bank Management, to introduce our dynamic resource person to the gathering.
Thank you, Vasuprada. I take immense pleasure in introducing the resource person for the day, Ms. Chitra Keshavan, an MBA from Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore, and also holds MSc and MPhil in psychology from TNOU. She is a subject expert in soft skills. She has experience in corporate training and teaching, and also has knowledge in the field of psychology and human resource management. She has been a part of Train the Trainers program of TCS and has trained 8 batches of final year and passed out undergraduate students of various colleges across Chennai on employability skills for the same. She holds 9 years experience in institutional training as well. Once again, Chitra ma'am, I'm very happy to have you for our department valedictory and the last session. We are waiting for your session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maitreyi. First of all, I would like to thank the management, our General Secretary and Correspondent, Mr. Manjit Singh Nair, our Principal, Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, and Vice Principal, Shift 2, Dr. Rajashri, and Vice Principal, Shift 1, Dr. Kalanidhi ma'am. Special thanks to you for your presence. And our Dean, Dr. Shekla ma'am, and Rama ma'am, for having chosen me for this session, first of all. Maitreyi and all the students who are present here, and also a special thanks to the GNMC, Mr. Satish. Thank you, sir, for your support. So with all this, I would like to start my today's session. Kindly give me a minute, I shall present. Yes, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Today's topic we are here to talk about is self-management and psychological well-being amidst COVID-19. We actually might have heard enough and more webinar sessions on this particular topic, but however much we talk on this, it is still not enough. The reason being, we thought it would start as an epidemic initially, but later we were shocked to know that it became a pandemic and spread across the world, and it has we have never seen a full stop to it, and it is going on and on and on, and we are still expecting episodes over episodes. So this talk on self-management and the psychological well-being is becoming a more serious issue to talk about as days go by. Okay, so today, though we have come across more than a year's time, COVID has still thrown us into a world which we never ever imagined. We have always been expecting something unexpected out of this virus, and we are now forced to a situation where we have to think something different to come over it and think out of the box to succeed this pandemic. And if you see, this has become the new normal. Is something very strange which we wouldn't have thought over centuries. Okay, if you want to be happy, it means you should not have any fever, cough, or cold, and your oxygen level is 98 to 99 percentage. And if you are able to taste good cheesecakes and smell coffee, it means you are normal and you can still feel very happy about yourself. Today, if we see, though this pandemic has given us a lot of information, has given us a lot of fears, we still are dependent on so many people to manage this epidemic and manage us as well. Especially starting from the World Health Organization to the information that we get from various countries, and our own India. If you take, the government is taking enough and more steps to fight and succeed this pandemic, and especially to prevent and protect our people from getting more and more infected and to help them stay safe and healthy. But if you see, we have our own people who are working day and night to find out the medicines for treatment and vaccines to protect us from the hard hands of COVID. And though we are manufacturing enough and more, and we have vaccinated much more people than overall population of small countries like Australia, we still haven't touched even 5% of the overall population. If you see, the total doses given just 2 days back, if you see, it is we have crossed well beyond 30 crores of the overall population. And if you see, the fully vaccinated people are only 5.46 crores, and it hardly comes to 4% of the overall population, which is nearing 140 crores. So we still have a very, very, very long way to go. In the meantime, the virus is mutating and it is getting into various new variants, which even scientists are unable to find out the way to mitigate it. And the government is giving us enough infrastructure. If you see, more than thousands of COVID hospitals and healthcare centers and COVID care centers, but still we are unable to prevent the deaths and the people falling seriously sick with a pandemic and its direct and indirect effect on people. And apart from, if you come down a level from government, since though the government is doing so much, but we are still totally unable to depend on the government too. If you come down a little from the overall government's support, there we also do have paramedical people, the police, the healthcare workers, the frontline workers, and from doctors to scavengers. We have so many people too who are seen next to gods, who are actually fighting to help us come out of this problem and to still stay healthy and safe. But the people who are seen next to gods, the doctors, the healthcare workers, they themselves are falling prey to the infections directly or indirectly. They are facing adverse effects because of the COVID. If you see, the recent data says 44.6% of doctors have anxiety issues, and more than 50% of those people are having depression and even insomnia and other psychological problems. So we are totally unable to depend only on doctors also. It is like a father of a family or head of a family who can always take care of one or two people if they fall sick in a family. But if the complete family falls sick, how can they manage? That is the current scenario. Coming down next to those medical supporters, we have our own family members and family caregivers. They are also under acute stress. If you see families, if you see our neighborhoods or in our own houses, at least the first wave of pandemic was at least better. We should call it that way. The second wave has played havoc. If you see, at least every second house or in our own house, we might have had at least one or two COVID cases, or people who have been directly or indirectly been affected because of this pandemic and COVID. And if you see, there are people who are unable to find jobs, who have lost their jobs and are struggling to manage financially, or people who have COVID patients at home and they are unable to spend on their medical expenses and to get them a complete treatment, and are struggling to safeguard them and to protect them from the clutches of COVID. And there are also people who are like having acute stress just by watching the news on COVID. And there are women who are now working from home, who are trying to manage both family and work and the children and whatnot. So that itself is becoming a stress during this pandemic. And if you see, there have been a lot of psychological impact on every single individual, starting from elders, middle agers, and till kids, small kids. They have any one of the psychological problems today, and there is a huge need for psychological support, or to go physically to doctors and get the treatment. It has gone so acute and it has become very chronic in the recent times, apart from the infection itself. And there are people who are not infected, but still, just because of the stress that this pandemic has given, have gone mentally ill. And around the WHO says more than 60% of the people are directly or indirectly or acutely or chronically are having psychological issues in this time of pandemic, and especially because of being at home during lockdowns. So if we even cannot totally depend on our own family members too. So when we are totally unable to depend on all these sources, whom do we depend on? Because the other impacts have had worst effects on the students who are like getting educated online, or no education at all. And if you see, people who have been pushed to poverty, who cannot make their single day's meal also, and the poverty is expected to be really bad and to affect more than 135 million people by 2030. That would be the worst effect of the current COVID. Even if we recover from some more years from now, it would have its very long-term impact in future. So all these things have given us enough lessons, but still we are totally not able to manage ourselves. The reason being, for centuries we have been always managing ourselves so well, but since now that we have lost the connection with the tradition, we have started being very dependent on other people to take care of us. And that is why we are finding it very difficult to manage ourselves at this crucial time of pandemic. If you can just see the news, when there are always hospitals available where vaccinations are given, but there are always more crowds near our area when a vaccination campaign is conducted, because we want those people to come down to our doorsteps to give us the treatment and the vaccination, and we wait for the day until they come to our doorsteps and give us what we want. So this kind of an attitude has literally spoiled us, and we have actually forgotten or lost the habit of managing ourselves. So this pandemic has given us a nice blow and has taught us the importance of self-management. So this is where this concept of self-management and self-care comes into picture. So when we speak about self-management, we would have always seen some elderly people in our family who have always been taking good care of themselves. They normally would be eating well on time. They would be very hygienic. They would take care of their own things and their own work. And but we now are in a condition to make fun of them, saying, "See, she loves herself so much, and she's like very much bothered about herself. That's why she's taking so good care of herself." But we have never thought what anxiety they would be having in their minds to be very mobile and healthy, and not to depend on others in the family, whether that be their own children or grandchildren, and to walk, be mobile till they are alive. and that importance has should be given to every one of us, whether we are young or old or in a very youthful state, because today this concept of self management is that very important. To talk about self care is not selfish. So if you see, there are a lot of psychological issues being complained from people now. Okay, what all self care can we do? And especially if you see in a lot of families, when there are people who are affected by COVID, in fact, I can state my own example where both my parents fell prey for COVID, and by God's grace they have recovered. But I could very well understand the families where they cannot afford to spend so much on their medical expenses or for the costly treatments that the private hospitals are charging them. And especially there are people, when you go to hospitals you can see people who have absolutely nobody with them, and they are trying to manage all by themselves and struggling with the infection too. We could see people who are all alone for 1 week, 10 days, 15 days with nobody around them, and they are all alone in hospitals, just with the help of the doctors and the nurses who give them timely medicines and food. So it is very important to empathize people. Even when there are people who are affected by this infection at home, they have to understand that when they are isolated, they are not ill treated or they are not avoided, but it is to prevent others from getting infected, and those who are infected also should have a understanding that it is good to be away from them so that they all stay healthy and they don't tend to spread the infection to others. And especially those caretakers should empathize the people who are suffering, and locking themselves down inside a room for 1 week, 10 days to 15 days, which is not an easy joke. We are unable to be with the family, with all the technology, with the media, for running full time in our houses. Though we are connected with the people and friends and family members on phone, we are still unable to be inside four walls during lockdowns. And when people get infected, when they are locking themselves down inside a room for 15 days time, is not an easy joke. So when we also should empathize their situation and be little kind and concerned to them. So when I have to tell my own example, when my parents were not fine, I was not with them. They were in a different place. I was in Chennai. So when I had to go down there, they were in a very, very bad state. And in a day or two, when they tested positive, they all lost all their hopes and they were totally anxious and completely stressed. So when I went there, spoke to them politely and said it is nothing big, we can overcome this. And when I could give them timely intervention, taking them to doctors, giving them timely medication, food, water, and all that they wanted, actually they mentally improved, and that helped them physically improve in a span of 2 to 3 days. And that is what is actually required at this point of time. Though it takes a long time for people to recover from this COVID, depending on their age and their health conditions, if you see, when they become mentally all right, recovering from the physical problems becomes very easy and it happens very quicker. So understanding is the first step, and understanding their grief, understanding their problem is the utmost thing what we have to do now. So when you see, there are a lot of issues that people are undergoing apart from the physical problems that are undergoing. Alongside, there are a lot of psychological symptoms that arises out of this pandemic. If you see, there are a lot of researchers undergoing still date, and a lot of studies that say that people are getting into maladaptive behaviors due to stress and delirium. Delirium is a kind of confused state of mind where they are unable to think properly or take a proper decision. And there are a lot of defensive responses that people are showing, and because of the stress they are too very scared. And if you see, if you had read the recent news in the newspapers, there are the sale of supplementaries or health medicines, multivitamins, or Ayurvedic medicines like supplementaries like Chavanprash has gone 500 times or 10 times more. The sales have increased, and people are trying to show this kind of defensive responses to protect themselves from not getting this COVID. But they tend to forget the fact that immunity cannot be built overnight. It takes a much longer time to build this immunity, and it is built over a long period of time. Taking multivitamins and all these supplementaries overnight doesn't build your immunity. And this building immunity is directly connected to your mental health also, and a proper lifestyle. People tend to forget that, and these people are looting money from us, and they are making wonderful business out of our fear. That's the fact. If you say the largest study says that mental health and neurological conditions have worsened in people who are affected, and those who are with the affected people. And if you see, 34% are diagnosed with neurological or psychiatric conditions within 6 months. And there are a lot of reports which say that the anxiety of people are like 17% of people are affected by anxiety, and mood disorders are around 14% of those people. And if you see, there are a lot of psychological issues like people getting into psychosomatic issues. That is, they do not have any physical issues, but just because of watching this news and just hearing and seeing people suffer and struggle with COVID, they have developed mental issues, and to the extent of complete psychosis, where they have completely lost the connect to the outside world. Especially, there are a lot of people who have this kind of issues post COVID, post recovery period also. So delirium is something where, as I told you, they have a confusion in their state of mind. They're unable to take issues, and many studies have told that people who are recovering are undergoing this kind of issues, and it lasts for a month or two after post their recovery also. And if you see, there is the substance misuse also has grown multifold, because people are unable to manage their stress, and the fact that they have to be locked down inside four walls and manage themselves all alone for some more months to come. And 5% have had insomnia. The very recent study would show much higher percent of this issue, where insomnia means where people are unable to manage their sleep, and they sleep properly, have lost their sleep patterns. And of those who are admitted in ICU, if you see, 7% have had stroke, and almost 2% have lost their complete memory, and that stage is called as dementia. Disorders like COVID, people they have had flus and respiratory tract infections post recovery also. So, and there are some more things apart from what I have put in this slide. But again, the psychological impact of COVID is so vast and it's so dreadful. And many people, when they have stress levels, even if they are not infected, have developed problems physically, emotionally, and mentally, and even behaviorally. Okay, so people are developing headaches, shortness of breath, vomiting, dizziness, high pulse rate, and blood pressure. When they get these symptoms, they immediately get into a conclusion that they might have got infected, even though they are not. The basic fear of, or the stress levels have made people fall sick or fall prey to the infections because of their lowered immunity levels. So, how can we take care or have the self care during COVID? The first and foremost thing is to
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes.
Is the first slide itself? Are you presenting all the slides? Slideshow has not been put. Sorry, ma'am.
Is it so? I'm sorry. Is this slide seen? Like
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Other impacts of COVID.
no, so self management is the only way.
No, no, ma'am.
One second, one second.
Only the first slide was seen all along, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
One second. Is it seen now?
No, ma'am, you have to present.
Okay.
You're out of the presenting now. You have to go back to present. Yes, you're presenting.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah, is it seen now?
Yes, ma'am, yes. But it's in the first slide only. Self-management, psychological well-being amidst COVID-19.
Yeah. Sorry. So, is it now okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is I am in the second slide. COVID has thrown us into a world which we have never imagined. Are you able to see this slide?
Yes, ma'am, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So just to have a short recap, I told you that we are unable to be so very dependent on the government or the steps that are being taken by the other supportive systems, the health departments, paramedicals, the NGOs. However much they extend their support, it is still not enough. And even the healthcare community are falling prey to the infections. So, and we are even totally not able to depend on our own family caregivers because they are also undergoing acute stress, right from elders to small people. And we also saw the other indirect impact of COVID too. Okay, so then we saw that how important self management at this point of time is. Um, yeah. So, so we just started talking about the psychological well-being and what kind of psychological symptoms that arise to people during pandemic. We were discussing this slide. Um, and yes, so I told you the too much of stress in people have developed symptoms like headache, shortness of breath, vomiting, high pulse rates and blood pressures. So the very stress itself lowers their immunity. And once we start developing these kind of symptoms, we really get the fear of getting infected, and we start becoming very defensive. We tend to exhibit a defensive behavior by taking a lot of concoctions of kapasura kudineer or nilavembu kashayam or homemade medicines, and steaming, lot of steaming, and eating raw vegetables, or like eating too much of fruits and supplements, health supplements like chavanprash to multivitamins. We become too very scared. And once you are under stress, however much you take, all these things are not going to help you. As I told you, immunity is built over a period of time, and it is not built overnight. Okay, so it is at this stage that this self-care becomes very, very crucial and important. You might have always seen doctors on televisions and on social media telling that you will have to keep yourself very busy, you have to keep yourself very clean, sanitized. Okay, but we also have to just listen and just forget. But we have to see to that at least we follow one or two things which are very, very important, and keep ourselves aloof from the outside world and move out only if necessary and stay at home. So emotionally also people get very weak, and they develop because of their boredom, and they start thinking too many things, and they develop anxiety and fear. They have are we are like sad all the time, and feel the inability to isolate ourselves even more out of fear. So if you see, especially in children, these kind of mental issues are being developed. Like they lose concentration, the memory is very weak, they develop a lot of negative thoughts, and we think too much. Like, will we? What if we die? What if we get infected? What if others ignore us? What if we don't recover? And all those things, and they become indecisive in their thoughts. So first let us talk about physical well-being. Physical well-being, you might have heard these four things enough and more from all the media. Like wherever you turn on any doctor's talks, pep talks, or interviews, these would be the very, very important things that they would be telling you. You must eat a very nutritious food, eat a lot of proteins, and do a little exercise, and or yoga, pranayama, something, and you should enjoy and relax your mind, and you should have a proper sleep of 7 to 9 hours per day. We would have heard enough and more of all these things. So whatever psychological well-being tips that I'm going to give you today are not going to be anything new to you. Okay, but we have seen enough and more of all these things. But how many of us know why do they say all this? How many of us know why are we supposed to follow all these things? We know that these things are good for health, and these might help us to stay healthy or to fight the infection and come out successfully. But have we ever thought why are these things important, and how do they have impact in our overall health and well-being? So I am also going to tell you the causes and reasons behind the tips that we have to follow, and also a few suggestions to you today. Now, everybody says that, especially when we are stressed, we are supposed to sleep properly for minimum of 7 to 9 hours per day and eat a very, very healthy diet. How are they related, and how important are they? Actually, there is a little science behind this fact, and it is time we know the science of our own self, our body. When especially this slide I took for the students who are attending the program today, who are actually losing a lot of sleep. In the small research that was taken, they found out that especially the community, youth community or the students community, are facing the problems of insomnia, or even if they get sleep, they spoil their health, and they don't neglect sleep, because they are engaged in the social network and media, or in their smartphones all throughout nights, and they don't sleep properly. And people, I want to tell you one thing: sleep is a medicine by itself. It's a gift that God has given us, and the sleep has a lot of impact on our physical well-being and mental well-being too. If you want to know, there are a few hormones, very important hormones, apart from the huge list of hormones that our body secretes, that are very, very important for our well-being. That alone I would be discussing today. There is a hormone called melatonin, which are called as sleep hormones, or otherwise they are called as hormones of darkness. They are beautifully described as hormones of darkness because they are secreted once the daylight goes down and the darkness comes up. Your body has a wonderful and beautiful system, automated system, which takes care of developing these hormones at the time when it is actually required, and to help you work out on the circadian rhythm, or like when it you are up in the day, when it is bright in the morning, work throughout the day. By when the day gets down, you become tired and you sleep. So this hormone, if you have observed, if you get into a dark room and sit for some time, you tend to get sleepy, and that's because of this hormone that we get sleep. Okay, these hormones are secreted in our body when the daylight goes off, and when we disturb this melatonin secretion in our body by turning on all the lights and keep telling your body, see, it is still not night, we are still, you have to be awake, it is still day, and this hormones secretion is disturbed, and that affects your sleep patterns. And please understand, your brain actively works only when you start sleeping. Yeah, they are awake when you are sleeping. And the brain does a lot of processing of the information that you collect over the day. And that helps you organize things online. And it also helps you to have a very good memory and to stay active the next full day. Once you disturb one hormone, it automatically affects the secretion of other hormones like serotonin, or the cortisol, or dopamines, or endorphins. These terms might be Greek and Latin to you, but I would just tell you small things about these wonderful hormones, or the God's creation in our body. Cortisols are also called as stress hormones. When you don't sleep and keep yourself awake for night, one day is actually okay, 2 days also okay, because you are at the peak of your health, and that doesn't disturb them. But when it continues over days, okay, your hormone secretion also gets affected, and this cortisol secretion is at its peak. Too much of cortisol secretion makes you feel very stressful, and you become very tired, inactive. You are unable to concentrate on what you are studying or doing. You become very annoyed and disturbed. You get a lot of anger, and your stress level keeps increasing thereby. Okay, so that also affects serotonin, which actually is a mood stabilizer. Okay, when you sleep very well, the serotonin is secreted, and it is very, very important for your happiness and for your well-being. In fact, the serotonin also has a great impact on your memory and also your digestive activities to be done. And if you see, there are one more wonderful hormone in your body called endorphins, which are called as happiness hormones, or otherwise happy hormones, which helps you feel very happy and very excited when you are with your friends. You enjoy with the small kids at home, or you watch your favorite movie or your rock star on TV, or when you sing or you dance, you listen to your favorite music on your mobile or TV. These endorphins are secreted, and that's why you feel very, very happy. Have you ever observed, if you are going to be with your friends over a period of maybe in a day or by evening, and you go back home, you sleep very well, because these hormones, endorphins, also help you to feel so relaxed, because you are happy. And you when you relax, all your body is like all the muscles relax, and it is equivalent to having a very good exercise for hours, and you become very happy, and your relaxed body condition helps you to sleep properly. Even when you have a full day of work and you're very tired, you automatically tend to sleep very peacefully that night. And when you listen to some good music and sleep, the next day morning when you wake up, you might feel very fresh and happy when you wake up in the morning. So for all those things, these endorphins are responsible. And also there is something called dopamine, okay, which are called as feel good hormone. We have a lot of sense of gratitude, we feel very thankful, we empathize people, and you have a lot of good feelings for others, and you are very affectionate. So for all those things, and to be very normal and manage your mood over hard times, or like when you are angry, when you are very stressed, depressed, and if you still want to be very normal and to keep away from depression, these dopamines are actually required. And so are something called oxytocin. So they actually create, they are affection hormones, as we call it. They are responsible for having affection or showing a lot of love to others. And in fact, too much of oxytocin also makes people get addicted to people and habits. So these are some hormones which are secreted by the brain, triggering them, and it all starts with a good diet and a good sleep. A good sleep helps your digestive systems rest, gastrointestinal activities to be performed at its perfect stage, and also when your brain is very active, your whole body is relaxed. And you might have even observed doctors giving sleeping pills when you people undergo stress, or when they undergo surgery, or when they are injured, or when they have pain in the body. The reason being, sleep is also an anti-anesthetic which helps you relieve from your bodily pains. Let that be from headache to any part that has severe pain, or if you have undergone a surgery, for the wounds to heal also, the sleep is much required. That is why since doctors cannot speak so much of science on TV, they do not tell you all this. But again, sleep is a God's gift. And if we disturb that, our body's own mechanism, wonderful mechanism, which is a healer, which has self healers inside, whatever you do, whatever mistake you do, it still forgives you and forgets your mistakes, and still helps you stay healthy. And if you disturb that, that will disturb you. And if you take little care of your own self, it takes beautifully very good care of you till you are alive. And yes, so what are the good benefits of exercises? So, to be mentally healthy, if you see people who work out are mentally also fit, because when you work out, your body, when your muscles, your nerves relax, there is a very good blood circulation in your body, and that helps you improve your mental health also. Okay, when you control your weight automatically, there is no pain in your any part of your body, and also your muscles and bones become very strong, and also it helps you prevent from serious ailments like heart attacks or lung infections and so on. So and also you are at the very very low risk of falling ill too. There are, in fact, a lot of apps which are available, like Yoga with Adrain, Nike Training Club, wherein they also give you tips on diet, nutritious diet, how to follow a proper nutritious food, what all to take and what all to avoid, and which time of the day should you take certain things, and what all should you avoid at certain time of the day. All those tips also they give you in this app. And there are also apps like Insight Timer, which has 25,000 free guided meditations, from starting from 1 minute to 90 minutes plus, to advanced yoga and meditation tips also they give you in these apps. So these apps you can actually try if you are really interested and you've decided to stay active. Okay, so some more tips if you want to think of for psychological well-being. You can always start making your homemade meal. If you have observed in the news, actually this the habit of baking has gone multifold. I could see that happening in my own house, where there are a lot of baking being done by my children too. And if you go out, there are a lot of ads coming up on net, and there are a lot of classes being taken, which never happened some years back. People, and if you even go try out for baking items from your shops, they are on demand. People actually are doing a lot of trying out a lot of homemade things, and cooking, they are trying out new things, and the YouTube cookery channels have gained momentum in the past 1 year. A lot of subscribers for the cookery apps and the YouTube channels, and a lot of people have started their own channels, in fact, have become experts, and they have started sharing their own experiences and their ideas on YouTube and channels like that. So you can always try actually making a good homemade meal during lockdowns without choice. In fact, people tried out doing that because they were not getting good food outside, and also the fear of people who would come and deliver that, and the doubts on the hygiene of those foods being prepared also made a lot of people sit at home and prepare their own meal, which actually helped them stay very healthy and prevented them from going to hospitals for even small things. So that actually is a big wonder, and I do not know how many realized that people going to hospitals for ailments had actually come down, except, and also it was for the fear of getting infected from COVID people in the hospitals. So it is, in a way, has proven good to us. And the most important tip that I would be like giving is take a break from the news. Research says that watching 15 minutes news on COVID and the related news can keep you stressed for next 1 to 3 hours of time. And that is why psychologists advise you not to watch this kind of news over and over. If the news is over in one channel, we again go to another news channel to watch the same news, or to still watch the worse news, then go to another news channel to watch much more horrible, dreadful news about COVID, the deaths that we see, that hospitals are not available, beds are not available. So these things actually scare us even more. And especially when you watch a